The A-League champions travel to the city of churches in search of salvation as the Reds kick off their new campaign. Good afternoon and welcome to Cooper Stadium on Ghanaland here in Adelaide as season 20 of the Isuzu UTE A-League continues. And when you think of iconic A-League venues across the last 20 years, there really isn't one that encapsulates this great league like Cooper's. From Goodwin's Galazzo in the Cup final to Tarek taking everyone on back in 2015, that 3-0 comeback against the Raw, and of course, the spawning salmon, Travis Dodd. This venue has seen it all, including that 4-0 humiliation dished out by the Mariners back in February. It was ruthless, it was efficient, and they are looking to rediscover that kind of quality which took them to 3 trophies last season. The Reds, though, they are primed to make some more special memories as they begin to write chapter 20 of their A-League odyssey. Isaias with his kids there. That's a special moment for the Adelaide vice-captain. As we get into the team news, Carl Viet has made 2 changes from September's Cup semi-final defeat. So Jovanovic will lead the line while Kikianis returns to the centre of defence after both were missing with the young Socceroos. That means Lopez drops to the bench with 19-year-old Ryan White, who this week signed a 5-year deal until 2029. There's no room for DeCooley and Tunnicliffe, who missed selection. While for the Mariners, in their 3rd match in over a week, just over a week for Mark Jackson, well, there's just the one change. Fei Zhao drops to the bench. 19-year-old Bailey Brantman makes his 2nd A-League start. Duarte scored his first senior goal on Tuesday against Shanghai Port. He's on the bench. Kickoff is coming up next. Well, we've been reflecting on iconic A-League moments, and you certainly can't go past the one involving the Adelaide boss, Carl Viet. He scored the first goal way back in August 2005. Now he begins his 5th season as head coach of Adelaide United. Still looking for his first trophy, though, as a manager. Well, it hasn't been the start to the season for Mariners coach Mark Jackson. 3 trophies last season, winless across all competitions this time around, but he got the team together in a huddle post their clash with Shanghai, and he said that he was really proud of how they finished off that match in the second half and wants them to carry that through into this trip to Adelaide. Jonathan Barrero in charge of A-League men's match number 91, the first time he has been in charge of this fixture. Well, Zach Clough was last season's Aurelio Vedmar medalist, the Adelaide United Player of the Year. He's actually got some support from home in the crowd today. His dad, Paul, and his brother, Kian, in the stands for this afternoon's clash. And everyone's been asking this season, who is going to bring the goals for the Mariners? Well, Mikhail Dockery's got 3 for them this season, including that spectacular strike in Shanghai on Tuesday night. So the countdown on for the Reds. New campaign after the bye in round 1. So the new campaign underway for Adelaide United. So can it start in the same manner as last season with the Reds toppling the champions in their opening game? Andy Harper with the Mariners having clocked up the miles this week. It's a great opportunity for the Reds.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ben. It certainly is, although in conquering all last year, the Mariners showed that the exertions of international travel continental competition were no hurdle at all. And bizarrely, their winless start to this campaign across all competitions was reflected this time last year when they lost their first 4 matches of the competition. So Mariners don't want that losing habit to continue, need to break it sooner rather than later. It is a great canvas on which Adelaide United will seek to create their own artwork here today.
Certainly a big season for Adelaide after missing the finals last year. Maybe a little distracted by story Iran Kunda's departure to Bayern Munich. Now they have a chance just to refocus with a bunch of youngsters coming in on long-term contracts for Calviert, looking to win their first trophy under their boss in his 5th full season in charge. There's Ryan Kitto linking with Delinov. New men in Lucas Moragas. Kikianis just putting Delinov under a little bit of pressure. So he plays alongside Isaias in the centre of defence, with Adelaide having some injury issues in that department. Bart Vreen's out with some soft tissue injuries, and Jordan Elsey as well. Barnett and Jovanovic. Important intervention from McCalman, but then he goes in a little hurriedly and gives away a free kick.
A good early opportunity for Adelaide. Jovanovic too slow in receiving and distributing. Cluttering into Nathan Alagic there. Disputed the call from the referee. He's decided in his wisdom that it was probably a little vigorous.
So Zach Clough in front of his dad and brother. This would be quite the start if he can set up the opening goal here. And that's dipping onto the head of Brian Kaltak. And then Alu Qual got it away to Docker. There's another makeshift centre-back in Brad Tapp, who's filling the void of Sainsbury. So both sides with some question marks defensively, especially in that centre-back combination to start the new season with injuries to key men.
And we're yet to make anything, obviously, of Adelaide United, apart from their cup run. The Mariners we've had a closer view of in really competitive matches, obviously goes without saying, playing Asian Champions League Elite, the top level of continental competition, where their results have been bad, but their form has been pretty good, particularly during the week. That's not a match against Shanghai Port that they should have lost. They created a lot of good chances.
And I think on balance, they deserved at least a point against the team sitting second in the Chinese Super League and were leading that competition until very recently. Speaking of travel, this man, Tana Kikianis, he's been away with the young Socceroos. One of those AFC Under-20 Asian Cup qualifiers. So out comes Baraj Cullen. Hasn't he acquitted himself well on senior debut last week against Melbourne Victory, and then again on Tuesday night against Shanghai Port. Just 18 years of age. Edmondson given a decent delivery to Chase, looking for Qual in the middle, but Kikianis hooks it away momentarily to safety. And then Alagic, and here's Barnett. Lovely pass that from Kickoff to Clough, and it just allows Adelaide to probe into the final third. Ayubi, and away by Caltac. There's been a lot of noise being made out of Adelaide regarding Austin Ayubi's pre-season. A couple of goals in the cup, and a late bloomer. He came through the South Australian NTC program, didn't get an opportunity with the Reds initially, went away, had some great seasons in the NPL South Australia, also spent some time in Cyprus, and now he's in the A-League. Luke Wall threatening to break forward there, the Mariners. They had numbers forward. Now it's Clough going the other way.
A good start to the game. Some moments for both teams without either goalkeeper seriously being tested. But there's enough speed in the approach play from both teams to make for a promising football game. Defence already on notice. A lot of positive play in possession. Just so far from both teams, missing that final pass to really cause some trouble.
Well, unfortunately, all three matches between these two sides were very one-sided last year. Adelaide with that 3-0 win in the opening round, and then Mariners 4-0 in February here at Cooper Stadium. And then the Mariners getting the job done 2-0 in the final game of the regular season, which secured them the Premier's plate. Perez spied the run of Clough. Giannis and Perez. Third club in 3 years for Dylan Perez. Western Sydney last year, Western United the season before, so a really important campaign for a really dynamic young player. And here he is linking with Clough, who cuts it across, and Parage Cullen getting an arm up just to bat it away, and it's coming back, and it's nodded away by Lucas Moragas. But Clough and Perez, that combination looking good down the right.
Well, Dylan Perez comes with a kit bag with which we're very familiar. The number one weapon for him is his speed. And if they can isolate Perez in a one-on-one situation with either Docker or Moragas, then it's Perez's job to get the ball in behind. He does it this time by some pretty astute distribution. And it was a good chance for Adelaide, swatted away as it was by Dylan Cullen.
So what can Adelaide conjure up from the first corner of the game? The left boot here of Alagic. Short to Clough. Clips to the back post. That was Ryan Edmondson, who was there for the Central Coast Mariners, the big striker, getting back to do his defensive work. Barnett and Mork. Ayubi holding tap at bay. Mork returns it to Ayubi, stabs it back post, Clough, and it's Caltac at the last moment. Jovanovic, and it's across the line. It eventually gets there for Luka Jovanovic and Adelaide United. And it may have been scrappy, but it is a priceless goal for Adelaide inside the opening 10 minutes.
Well, the reward for Adelaide for keeping their head, enjoying possession deep in Mariners territory on the Harvey Norman replay, and the Mariners just not able to get the ball clear. Stephen Mork neck deep in causing the trouble. Ayubi as well. And as the ball comes to the back stick, Zach Clough keeps it in play, and the scramble thereafter works in the favour of Luki Ivanovic and his team Adelaide, who take a goals lead.
And he brings out the Alexander Mitrovic celebration, one of his inspirations. What a start for the young Socceroo. He scored 4 goals in 24 matches last year. He'll be hoping for a better return and couldn't have asked for a better start in game 1. He's grabbed his first goal. And the Mariners once again, unfortunately for them, they're making a habit of going behind in matches this season, and it makes things really tough. Docker comes off Jovanovic. Killen just launches it.
Storm Roo very understandably asking the question how that's not a foul in his favour. Should have been a Central Coast Mariners free kick.
This early goal will just settle a few nerves around Cooper Stadium. First game of the new season. They did play a couple of weeks ago their final friendly against Melbourne City. Had a 1-0 win in that one, but they've got the competitive juices flowing now, Adelaide. Ayubi finding Barnett, who returned after nearly 500 days without football during the Australia Cup. He ruptured that hamstring in the lead up to the finals back in 2023. Perez's delivery. Again, it's Kaltak with another key interception, but it spills back for Alagic, who's dazzling his way through. And Moragas to hook it clear. They're doing a lot of scrambling at the moment, the Mariners.
Alagic just hesitating on that pass, which killed the space for the opportunity to really take flight for Zach Clough. And a good passage of play for Adelaide. Really interesting in the lead-up. Carl Viet, the Adelaide coach, trying to hose down expectations for the season, which is completely understandable. This is probably the first club, and certainly in my opinion the most successful club in the comp to really skew youth, and it's been a formula that's worked in many ways for them. The failure to make the championship matches has bitten because of that perhaps lack of experience in key matches, and the juggling act for Adelaide to remain uber competitive whilst opening the door for next-gen talent.
Well, they were the first side that showed it could be done, where you build through your academy, and then the Mariners, well, they've taken that to a new level, haven't they? A couple of championships in back-to-back seasons, premiership last year, AFC Cup as well.
Yeah, it's true. The Mariners story, in my opinion, been slightly different on the matter of detail, and a lot of the players that they've brought in and have done very well have come post-academy age. NPL players who've been given second chances and done extraordinarily well. There have been a trickle of young players directly out of the academy, and I would expect that to continue.
Mork. There's Ayubi and uses him. Now Kitta. Ayubi. Adelaide really dictating the opening 15 minutes of this game at home at Cooper Stadium, as you'd probably expect. They've still got to go out and put it into action. Ayubi, Mork very nearly had it deflected back into his path, and there's another corner on the way for the Reds.
Oh, very good, very good. I mean, Stephen Mock skews left when he's attacking at the moment, and he's linking up with the left midfielder, left winger in Ayubi. Great combination, the two of them. Ayubi's a really good story. Branded him a late developer, which is true. And he needs to be the A player that gives a lot of footballers hope. Mantra that if you haven't made it or been identified by the time you're 17 or 18, you've missed the boat. We need more Ayubis to prove that you can come back in your early 20s. Stay in love with the game, stay engaged, and you can find your way through.
Clough's corner, well, he has overhit that one quite badly. Surprising for Clough, but it is a little bit windy. It's coming from left to right of screen, and that gives us a good opportunity to head downstairs. Max Burford, how are the conditions?
Evening, Benny. Afternoon, wherever you are around the country. It is heading, you are right, left to right. Fairly strong breeze, but maybe not enough to really affect the ball too much in the air. I wanted to give you something else on the conditions real quickly, if you will indulge me, as we watch this ball go forward. For all of my lawn nerds that are out there, as part of the renovations here to Hindmarsh, just watch this play out of defence, risky. They have a completely new pitch in this year. It's used to be ryegrass. I'll let you guys go. It's lawn. It's very exciting. Come back to me.
Moragas curls it across. They just don't want you to talk about the turf, Max. We'll go back to you.
I really do want to get through it. It used to be ryegrass. It was carpet most of the time. Everyone loves coming to play here, but it got scorched during summer, so they've changed it. Go again.
Brantman, and here is Qual. And there's going to be a corner here on the way for the Mariners.
I'm losing interest. I know I am, but it is Sandarana-Cooch now. It uses less water. It loves the heat. It's thick. It's going to be beautiful in about 3 weeks' time, they reckon. It's still stitching together. But you know what? Maybe I'm the only one interested in that. Let's get to the corner, and then we'll have Bruce later on with some comments.
He'll be hosting Gardening Talk back this week in Adelaide, Max Burford. So he's all over the grass here at Coopers Stadium as Docker drives in the corner. Adelaide dealing with their first real defensive assignment quite nicely. Caltac, the captain of the Mariners, also captain of Vanuatu. They've got an important World Cup qualifier against New Zealand next month. Beat Samoa earlier this month. He was part of that side. And with that one automatic qualification spot for the next World Cup, gives an opportunity, of course, to New Zealand, but a lot of the other nations.
Most certainly in that match against New Zealand, with Caltac going up against Chris Wood, who scored 2 for Nottingham Forest in the East Midlands Derby overnight. And the English Premier League will be a key battle in deciding those points, and direct qualification for an OFC team. A huge, huge opportunity.
Massive. And New Zealand don't always get through. They missed the Confederations Cup in 2013. Tahiti got through.
I mean, just
time around. So
just imagine if New Zealand were to fall, and we're not wishing that upon them, but it is possible in a football tournament. And just imagine to have an island nation such as Fiji or Vanuatu direct qualification to a World Cup, and how that would supercharge football in the region.
Stephen Moore at his best to start this new season for Adelaide. Ayubi takes on Brantman, who looked a little tired there, which was surprising considering he didn't play the full 90 on Tuesday, but just the way Ayubi's moving, causing massive headaches.
It's been outstanding to start this game. Unfortunately, he didn't get the delivery there that his lead-up work suggested he might. But he's been one of the players making the difference here in these early stages.
So goals in the cup for him against Olympic Kingsway and Western Sydney Wanderers coming into this new A-League season. yet to score his first in the Isuzu UTE League in his 8th match. Torres, great endeavour there to win back possession for Adelaide. The Mariners finding it really difficult to get any kind of forward progress. Isaias and Clough. Space aplenty again for Adelaide. Mork. And now Ayubi moving it onto the left. And was Brad tapped in the way. And again, another poor turnover from the Mariners. Clough with space to drive. Just didn't quite get a good piece of it. But there are problems defensively for the Mariners.
They're looking very heavy-legged, the Mariners. This is a great chance for Clough. That's an amazing bit of space to enjoy when you're the type of player that Zach Clough is. With your family watching.
There's Paul Clough, hand in the air, brother Kean as well alongside. Great to see them in the house for Zach's opening game of the new season.
It most certainly is, and he should have done better on that occasion. Would have given them something really to smile about.
Smiling even more if Adelaide can grab a second goal, which when you've got the momentum, you really want to make it count. And at this point, be desperate to just frank this lead after all their good work. As McCalman finds Qual, because it can turn in an instant. Marcus chimes in. Docker finds McCalman. Torres again able to thwart that attack. It up to Edmondson. Deflection favours Brandman. Looking for some space down the left, but Adelaide are just providing no space at all with this really intense defensive work. Caltac. It's almost quite the opposite to what we're saying when Adelaide are in possession. The way they are able just to pick their way through the Mariners. They can't do likewise here, the Central Coast, but maybe here's an opportunity. Edmondson and Brantman dinking it to Qual and straight into the arms of Delianov.
Yeah, that's better. That's better from the Central Coast. Some completed passes, some better movement, and Alan Qual, he's looking just a more dangerous proposition this year than he did last. It's yet to materialise with goals, but if he can maintain this level of application, the goals won't be far away.
And you would would love a few more than what he got last year, but you think about the importance of some of those goals, especially in the AFC Cup final against Adelaide, the 1-0 winner in the 84th minute to secure them a fair wad of cash and another trophy last season. Ayubi taking on Storm Rue and just easing past him.
Well, that was good coverage. After Storm Rue was beaten by Brad Tapp. Nice work. Ayubi again breaking the first 1v1 situation.
So Brad Tapp clipping it forward, but over the sideline. Kiddo saw the bright boots of Stefan Mork, who was just in behind Tapp. And the flag eventually goes up for offside. Just beyond. Stefan Mork mistimed his run only slightly. Couldn't sneak his way past Perez. That's a deflection which initially looked to favour Jovanovic, but in the end it was the Mariners goalkeeper. Raj Cullen searching for the tall timber in Edmondson. Almost able to link with Qual. Steele. Docker. And Brian Kaltak. Moragas, who's not quite getting the space that we usually see him find, especially going forward. They well contain the Mariners in this match so far. Cooper Stadium fans trying to find some voice. Let's head down to the sideline. Bruce Gite and Max Burford, what have you made of the start of this one?
Well, it's clear that Adelaide United have been dominating, especially the first 20-25 minutes up until Alu Qual had that header on target. But Zach Clough and Stefan Mork are really finding good spaces in between the lines and are able to turn and really bring Ayubi into the game. I'll let this go back to you guys. Mariners on the attack here.
Mikhail Docker bearing down on goal. Trying to slip it into the path. Couldn't find McCalmont though, and now it's Zach Clough. Acres of space to stretch his legs as Moragas closes the ground, and the cross beating everyone across the face of goal. Back to you, Bruce.
But the Mariners are really going to have to find a way to stop both Mork and Clough impose themselves on the game. And as for Jovanovic, hasn't been overly involved in the game, but what's his greatest strength? That's being in the right place at the right time. A bit of perseverance on a bit of a scrappy goal, but it's great to see him off the mark for the season.
Thanks, Bruce. Very McLaren-esque, you'd call it. Jamie McLaren-esque harps.
Yeah. Well, there'd be about a dozen or so A-League clubs who'd be happy to have a McLaren-esque striker on their books.
And here is a free kick going the way of Adelaide United. Jay Barnett has been clattered, and you could see Jonathan Barrero. He's just saying to McCalman, "What are you doing there, mate?"
Well, it's not just that tackle. You'll recall earlier on in the game, he was a bit too strong as he went for the ball. That's clearly late, and the referee right to swoop in and issue, I'd say, a final warning. The referee's not obliged to do that, but showing some restraint on this occasion.
Mork once again linking with Ayubi. And out by Brantman. And McCalman finding Docker. Those little legs speeding away down the left edge. Moragas was keen to get forward and make that run, as we mentioned before. Very limited opportunities for him getting forward down the left. That was one time he did get up the pitch. And Caltac putting Rue under some serious pressure against the sideline. Off the head of Ayubi. Didn't know too much about it. And Barnett via Clough to Parias, who bends this one up the line, but Dylan Parias, just at the key moment, his feet let him down.
Well, that is exactly the template for Dylan Parias to do his thing, but his run was a little askew, and the pass compounded that problem, and it's a big escape for the Mariners, really, because that was a huge amount of space for Parias to have a crack at.
Important to mention as well, this is game number 203 for the Mariners for Storm Rue. Third most appearances in all competitions for the Mariners. Goes equal with Josh Rose and Alex Wilkinson. Some legends on that list. Led by John Hutchinson, of course. Danny Vukovic not far behind. The top couple for the Central Coast.
Ready, go, roll!
Yes. Again, it's Stephen Mork making a great forward run.
Oh, what a pity for Stephen Mork and the Adelaide fans that he couldn't control that ball. Look at that run, unchecked. Storm Rue reacting perhaps a little late. In the end, not punished because the technique wasn't quite up to it. Difficult to execute that skill. But he's good enough to have done it, and he knows it. Frustrated. Good ball to find him. Great run.
Forward runs from Mork really hurting the Mariners in the first half. Barnett finding Clough. Technique on show as well. The goal scorer Jovanovic. Barnett. Mork sees Clough. The Mariners converged on him. Just freed up some teammates and now some space here for Isaias to find Parias. And that statistic top left just underlines the crisp nature of Adelaide's passing in this game. Couldn't find Mork, but he is going to earn himself a free kick.
Well, it's as good as the Mariners can do at the moment to stem the flow of possession by a free kick. Not a lot of contact, but it was significant enough from Alu Kuol to skittle Ethan Alagic, and the free kick result gives Adelaide this chance. It's a fair way out, so they'll have to conjure something rather, you'd imagine, than a direct shot on goal.
The teenage keeper marshalling his wall and his defence here for this set piece. As the man with the most famous set piece in Adelaide United history, Isaias stands over it with Zach Clough. And it's Clough who rather tamely prods it into the arms of Paraige Cullen. And it's not his greatest clearance, but Edmondson gets ahead to it. And Adelaide lump it back.
Well, what's been a good 36 minutes of football, that little sequence there was Sunday Public. It takes all things and types. So just a badly miscalculated free kick execution from Adelaide. Paraige Cullen's clearance wasn't great either. Anyway, let's hope normal service will be resumed now.
Ayubi, again dangerous. Brian Kaltak, he's been superb the way he's cut out those crosses to start this match. They've been dangerous balls. There may be another one here for him to contend with, as Barnett and Clough link down the right. Kikianis. Again, it's Mork probing. Mikhail Docker trying to make something happen. It is utter frustration for the Central Coast Mariners to start this match. It is really difficult for them even to get out of their own half, let alone create a meaningful opportunity. Alu Kuol's header the closest they've come, and that's the only real chance of note for them. That could be a pressure reliever. Vargas looking for Docker, who did pretty well initially. Couldn't control Parias. Ayubi was just waiting for it to drop, but Rue's header finding Kito. Ayubi shifting left and right, and it was Brad Tapp with the important toe in, allowing Edmondson to stretch his legs and earn a free kick. Is there anything further here? There is a yellow card for Kikianis.
A great opportunity for the Mariners. Great space earned by Ayubi in that last Adelaide attack. Resisted the chance he made for himself to shoot, and then as that attack peters out, the Mariners launch a counter. Kikianis correctly put on a yellow card there for that challenge to take out Edmondson.
The first of his fledgling A-League career, the 19-year-old, 6th match in the Isuzu UTE A-League. First caution for him, and maybe a key one, considering Ryan Edmondson was showing some serious speed down that edge, and the Mariners have given it straight back to Dylan Parias. And he curls this via a little deflection. Ayubi. And Alagic. Stefan Mork with time, but he couldn't pick his spot.
And look at the Mariners as they prepare now for the retake. The heads are down, the shoulders are slumped. They're looking a little heavy-legged, a little tired. There's not enough energy to close the ball down. It's a decent effort at goal by Stefan Mork, looking to steer it to the left-hand post of Paraige Cullen. And as soon as that ball goes wide, the immediate reaction of the Mariners players, to me, reflects a team that is just struggling a bit physically at the moment.
Well, Mork looked so fresh out there,
Outside, down the loop. Right
just
in.
about
Come
covering
on,
every
hurry up.
blade of grass, especially in the final third, and the Mariners just cannot go with him at the moment. And you just wonder, just the one change from Tuesday night, which was an unchanged team from Friday night against Melbourne Victory. And Mark Jackson said during the week that he does like to keep a similar side. You wonder whether it is having an impact here on a warm afternoon, mid-20s here in Adelaide after the long flight back from China to Sydney. They went back to Gosford and then they've had to travel back to Adelaide yesterday. It's been a huge week of travel. And that's a very similar set of players in the starting side.
And to the extent that the Mariners are feeling a little bit fatigued, I'll put it this way, not as fresh as they might, then the onus is even more on Dylan Prius just dishing the ball off. Then again, he's gone one-on-one successfully and delivered the ball into the penalty area 3 times. I'd say he's had another 5 or 6 opportunities where he's passed the ball backwards.
Ayubi again causing serious problems for Storm Roux, who used all of those years of experience.
And my word to the likes of a Dylan Prius is use this advantage whilst you've got it. If you get the sense that your opponents are struggling chasing shadows, then put your foot down. And I'm not quite sure, as productive as his first half has been, it's not necessarily being overly critical, but I just think there's more for him to do down there with this great opportunity as a winger with his speed to throw the gauntlet down completely to the Mariners.
Alagic onto the head of Moore. For all his hard work, he deserves a goal in this first half. That's as close as he's come.
And his runs out of midfield are not a secret. I mean, it's been the hallmark of his game, that the Mariners not dealing with the space that he's creating with those forward runs. And on this occasion, again, he becomes the target of the delivery and does very well with the attempted reverse header there. Close thing.
And so often in this first half, Brian Caltech's been getting to those kind of deliveries first, but it was just that extra bit of speed for Mork to get there in front of the Vanuatu international. Happy with the lead, Adelaide, but no doubt they'll want another one because they've got the Mariners on the ropes here in this first half. Clough. The clearance from Tapp was a shanked one to Kitto. Alagic. And Ayubi. He just saw his spot. Couldn't bend it around Parage Cullen.
Yeah, worth a go. Cutting in. He's gone outside Storm Roux until now, effectively so. And he took the opportunity to shoot then. He had a very good first half, as have most of, or all of his players, their teammates in red. Mariners, by comparison, it's probably too dramatic, Ben, to say they're just hanging on, but clearly the dominant team has a great chance to increase their advantage here. Second half, as we've seen so often in football, could be a totally different story.
Well, exactly. And that's the point to underline. You think about half-time Mark Jackson, you're almost certain, based on this first half performance, there will be changes, there will be fresh legs, and that can just change the momentum of a match of football. And if Adelaide don't have enough of an advantage from their domination of this first half, it could really sting them in the second. You can already see, bottom of screen, that looks to be Nathan Paul getting some instructions. So is that a potential move maybe to push Tapp into midfield, or a replacement for Tapp coming in at centre-back? We'll see how that plays out in the second half as Ayubi's delivery.
Well, put it this way, they're not sharing recipes for the post-game dinner.
It certainly is. And just the one additional minute of added time in this first half. Lovely ball from Barnett, and then Mork to Parias. Is there one final chance for the Reds? Seem content for the moment to head to the sheds with a 1-0 lead, Adelaide. So Jonathan Barrero brings the first half to a close here at Coopers Stadium. And it was Adelaide with the opening goal inside the opening 10 minutes. Luka Jovanovic with a big strike, which leaves Adelaide United leading the champions, the Central Coast Mariners, at half-time by a 1-0. And straight after the break, Tara and the team will review all the first half action.
Sorry to see so many plain shirts here today. Don't forget, the brand new 24-25 range has been released. Get it before they sell out as well. Watching the team has done an outstanding job as always with the merchandise. Let's keep looking around. We're going to find our winner. Red for red.
What do we got, AJ?
How are you, mate?
I reckon we've got our winner right here on the left. On the left in the United shirt. Hey, congratulations. We've seen red and the bloke next to
All right. What's the vision of Zach? Just him running around doing his thing.
Yeah,
If it's there, yeah. Just so Brucey knows what he's getting into. He's calm on the ball, isn't he? That's a great touch. Cool.
Yeah, done. Beautiful.
How long does it go for? Sorry, how long are we on
How long
for?
we got?
2 minutes. Okay, we'll be quick.
Sweet.
We'll be brief. And then
On
it's
rations. On
all
rations,
right,
mate.
second half action after the break. Yeah, cool.
On the other side. I don't know.
Cool, cool, cool. Well, the best bit of the overlay is the last bit, so feel free to get into the overlay pretty quickly. If we've only got 45 seconds to chat in total and it goes for 30.
He's warming up.
There you go, got one. 33. Welcome back to Coopers Stadium. Adelaide United getting the job done so far over Central Coast. It's 1-0. They have had all of the play so far. Bruce Gitte, what's caught your eye as we head into the second half?
It's got to be Zach Clough and the way he's getting into pockets, the rotation he has with Piraeus. It's Piraeus to Clough, it's Clough to Piraeus. When Clough's up and on the wing, Piraeus is playing the through balls. Obviously instrumental in the assist, if you can call it that, to Jovanovic. But that rotation, if the Mariners can't nullify that, then they're going to struggle all this second half. But I think they're preparing a few changes. But it's been a phenomenal start to the season and very instrumental from Zach Clough today.
All right, the second half is coming up next. We can see there are 2 changes that it looks like already for Central Coast. You'll get those and the commentary and the second half next.
Welcome back to Coopers Stadium. It's Adelaide United's first game of the new season in round 2 after the bye in the opening round. And Andy Harper, you couldn't say Adelaide have been red hot in the first half, but they have been dominant. They have that 1-goal lead to show, and the Mariners have rung the changes.
Yeah, and maybe those changes will flick the switch for the Mariners. They look like they're going to 3 centre-halves and 2 wing-backs, effectively 5 across the back. Struggled with the width of the Adelaide play. And see what materialises. Adelaide had a great chance to seriously kick clear after a very good first half for them. And have they given the Mariners too much of a chance by not putting them away?
Well, the Reds in a good position here to win the opening game of the season against the champions in back-to-back years. And those changes for the Mariners, so Stormrue off. And just confirming that Nathan Paul has come on. And Sabit Ngor, he has replaced Alu Kual further up the field. And Sabit Ngor made his senior debut with Western United a number of years ago. Made his A-League men's debut last week for the Mariners. Really impressed. Playing in the NPL, getting his opportunity to step up into Mark Jackson's side. There's Jovanovic finding Ayubi, and it's Adelaide again with an opportunity to go on the attack, which has been cut out by Harry Steele. Kitto nudges it into the space in front of Ayubi. Caltack away. And Brantman. Ryan Edmondson is going to need some rocket fuel to track that one down.
Well, in what I think is generally agreed was a rather flat first half from the Mariners, actually Ryan Edmondson, by comparison, has looked really fresh. He's had a couple of strong bursts. That was another one there to try and run that ball down. Has exposed Kikianis with that challenge on halfway in the first half. That's put Kikianis on that yellow card. Maybe Edmondson can inspire some greater physical output from his Mariners teammates.
Cullen towards Brantman. So a little bit of extra energy about Central Coast Mariners here, which is a very good sign from their perspective after, as you're touching on, half. So really lifeless first half. Gore maybe an opportunity for him to step up at this level. Played so well for Heidelberg, of course, in the Cup campaign. Came up against the Mariners and then they brought him into their ranks. How often do we see that? A-League side comes up against an NPL side, impressed by one of the opposition players, and they bring them in. Hand them an A-League contract. Brantman. Was neat, but Ryan Kitto able to win it back for the Reds and release Jovanovic. Now more, just not enough power behind that forward pass to Clough. And Gore. And Maracas. Nathan Paul was a regular starter at the beginning of last season for the Mariners and then really dropped off with Dan Hall locking in that starting centre-back role alongside Brian Kaltak. So this is a big chance for him as well, coming on at half-time.
Yeah, and the balance is already swinging slightly in favour of the Mariners. Those changes have worked. Of course, having the two wing-backs on the left there, Lucas Moragas, with the Mariners in possession, being able to push further forward, it's already had the effect of pinning Dylan Bruce much deeper. More room to work. So a good change in formation from Mark Jackson on this early evidence of the second half.
Well, already Moragas has been further forward in 5 minutes than he was majority of the first half. Really playing to his strengths as Courage Cullen left that a little short. Kikianis on a yellow card. That's important to note as well. The Adelaide centre-back, he's got to be really careful in this second half. We know Adelaide have had problems in that department in years gone by. Players getting sent off, so they do not want that in our opening game of the new season. It's good strength from Nathan Paul initially. Now in Gore. He just finds Alagic though. Just wonder whether Mariners trying to conserve energy in the first half, because defensively they just have a bit more pizzazz about them, which we didn't see in the first 45.
No, I think the change of lineup has just enabled them to get a little bit of a psychological grip on the game. It's pushed the wider Adelaide players back a little bit, takes a little bit out of the attacking momentum, gives them some breathing space and some opportunities going forward. I mean, already in the opening 5 or 6 minutes of this second half, they've had more possession in Adelaide's half than they did for the entirety of the first stanza. So that's enabled them to establish some equilibrium, and from here they'll look to launch some attack.
Docker cut off by Kikianis, but we saw what Mikhail Docker can do on Tuesday night. And that brilliant strike with the right boot, curling effort from the top left of the box. He can change this match in one moment. 3 goals for him across the ACL Elite and the Australia Cup. That's a poor giveaway by McCalman. And Barnett looks to use Perez. And his technique went awry, not for the first time this afternoon. Isaias and Barnett. Perez's touch was ginormous. And here come the Mariners, springing forward through Ngor. And now it's he who gives up possession rather meekly. That's better though. Ivanovic invited that run from Perez, but Nathan Paul, fresh legs off the bench, able to shut it down. So Adelaide just slightly preferring that left edge for their attacks, but fairly even across the board when you look at that statistic. Austin Ayubi has been at the forefront of that. Docker drives it up towards Edmondson. Zach Clough, how about that for a first touch? More. Kito returns it to the Englishman Clough. Ayubi. Clough again in a tight area, but he stabbed his pass into the path of Moragas, who has got plenty of speed. And Gore is burning away down the middle, and Moragas' pass just too far in front of his striker.
Yeah, great opportunity for the Mariners, just lacking quality at the end from Lucas Moragas. All the hard work done.
It's clearly more of an even affair this second half.
Well, credit the changes that have worked so far. Here's a great chance for Adelaide.
And Perez has the time to pick his cross. And via a deflection, it's beaten everyone. Stefan Mork tracks it down. Moragas initially with the header, and then McCalman. Alagic, just for a moment, had a little look up, thinking about the shot. Ayubi, now Kito, dinking it towards the penalty spot. Brantman's header just went straight up and down. And then Jonathan Barrero cops one. Oh, the referee frustrating players on both sides.
Got out of one there, the Mariners, because that clearance, if it doesn't hit the ref, is going straight to an Adelaide player. Now, the referee is duty bound to stop it where it hits him. But look at this. That's going straight to Jay Barnett. Point being made by Ryan Kiddo and Stefan Mork. Nothing that could be done about it.
But the Reds are coming back at them. Kito. Alagic using Ayubi. Plenty of men in the middle. Clough's had an air swing. And now Moragas burned away from Perez. As Isaias in front of him, he takes him on, but the Spaniard, well, what he lacks in pace, he makes up for in footballing intelligence. And now Ayubi is caught offside. Turn from Brantman. And Gore drifting wide. You can already hear the cries of Mark Jackson ensuring that the Mariners have got their rest defence set here in case they turn over the ball. Sliding it to Docker. He's in a real scrap there, which Ayubi wins. Excellent work. Kito. Well, Caltech out of position. Now Jovanovic with a chance to roam and find Perez. Clough in the middle. Jovanovic arriving. Perez drives it at goal. And Perez Cullen with a really solid save at the near post. He had to get down.
Well, Carviet pacing with frustration because just not clinical enough. Two parts to that sequence. Lack of clinical execution from Adelaide, but also the recovery of Caltech. We didn't get a chance to really highlight the point here, but he copped up possession 15 metres inside the Adelaide half. You blink, Adelaide counter-attack, and who's on the edge of his 6-yard box? Geez, that guy can run.
I remember seeing on socials last year there was a video of Caltech sprinting basically from one penalty box to the other, and the speed that he has, it is so impressive. So Ben Falami onto the field for Adelaide United. He comes on for Austin Ayubi. And Ryan White, who this week signed a 5-year deal, keeping him at the club until 2029, the Para Hills Knights junior. He played all 4 cup matches for the Reds. He comes on up top, and he very nearly, I think he got a little nibble off the studs there. And Ben Falami in his 100th A-League men's match. He's had a calf issue in the off-season, so good to see him onto the field for Adelaide United. Moragas. 1-2 with Docker. Brantman. The angle's there for him, but just shut off by Kitto. Moragas. Edmondson! It's not going to be the equaliser the Mariners have craved.
Yeah, the naked eye looked clearly offside. Yeah, no doubt about this one. But that should serve as enough of a warning for Adelaide that they've had the chances to kick clear. They're going to have to kick clear. Now, this Mariners team, twice defending champions, they're not going to go home without a fight.
So as Victor Feijau comes on for Bailey Brantman, let's head down to Max. How's the feeling around the stadium, Max?
Certainly a little bit more delicately poised in the second half. Central Coast has started significantly brighter than the way that they played in the first half. And Bruce Gite maybe slightly worried for the Reds in one area of defence in particular, Bruce.
Certainly, and I think Harps touched on it just a little bit just a second ago. It's the counter-attack, you know. You're getting these opportunities, great opportunities to really put the game to bed. 2-3-0. Good night. That's not happening for Adelaide United. And the counter-attack, they're looking susceptible. I mean, yes, that's been a warning sign, but here we go again.
Edmondson and Delianov only as far
What I say.
as Ngor, who has equalised for the Central Coast Mariners with his first Isuzu UTE A-League goal. So the man picked up from the NPL with Heidelberg in the off-season in just his second match in the big time. He's got a crucial goal for the Central Coast.
Well, Harvey Norman replay shows a wonderful ball over the top from Brian Caltech. And probably in the Mariners' best so far, Edmondson. This winds the clock back to Championship Day last season against Melbourne Victory. Similar angle from which he scored. This time, the shot's too hot for Delianov, and the follow-up is too intense. Firstly, Victor Feijau putting his body on the line, and then Ngor helping himself to the tap-in. Adelaide cannot say they weren't warned.
Well, here's another one, Harps. We spoke about it in the first half. Players performing at the NPL level, stepping up to the A-League, and he's got his first A-League goal. Made his senior debut with Western United back in 2021, but didn't get an opportunity to play in the A-League with the green and black. Went to Heidelberg, spent some time in the Finnish First Division, back to Heidelberg in 2024, and now he's got his first A-League goal as Victor Feijau. He's going to go and get some treatment. He literally only just came onto the field. Crucial involvement, though.
Well, fabulous from him. And Ngor just there to do the tap in, but the ball from Caltech was excellent. The work from Edmondson, he's deserved that. I think in a side that struggled, certainly for the first 45, Edmondson has worked hard. And now there's a spring in the Mariners' step. Amazing, isn't it?
Well, how often do we see it? How often do we see it? One side, utterly dominant. They don't get the goals they probably deserve for all their hard work, and they are punished. And now the Mariners, well, they have a real shot here. A massive chance of picking up their first win of the season. was Adelaide's Achilles heel last year, conceding sloppy goals in key moments like that, and it struck again.
Well, he's been a fantastic servant, Messias, no question. And he's been very adequate as a centre-half, more often than I'm sure Carl Viet would want to use him there. But in that singular moment, a midfielder transplanted to centre-back got done completely by a full-on centre-forward. Edmondson just ate him alive in that challenge. And the shot was good enough to force the scramble from which the Mariners then equalised.
And look at the Mariners now, the confidence. The back-to-back champions really feeling up and about now. It was the second half they were most impressive against Shanghai Port on Tuesday. And there's so much football on at the moment. If you did miss that 3-2 defeat for them, but it was certainly one of their best performances of the season. As Perez driving in on goal. And now Clough cleared away by Moragas, but only as far as Barnett. And Stefan Mork, who was such an instrumental figure in the first half, very much peripheral in the second. I'll need him to be more involved here, Adelaide, if they are to restore the lead. Perez versus Moragas, and Lucas Moragas concedes the corner.
It's better from Dylan Perez. Good recovery from Lucas Moragas to block an attempted ball into the box. Corner results. Not overindulged with big men to challenge for the ball here, Adelaide.
The delivery is low onto the head of Ryan White, so they'll get another opportunity. Well, they're appealing here. I thought initially for a handball, but Jonathan Barrero has said no, it's a goal kick.
Indicated by the assistant on the far touchline. I'm not sure that Jonathan Barrero would say he had the best view of this.
So does it come off the head of Paul into the midriff of White? That is what it would seem. Spotted by the assistant. Zhao has recovered from the clash, which helped to set up the goal. Left him a little winded. And here he is, the Brazilian, looking dynamic. Moragas. And then Gore. Did it cross the byline? No, it didn't. Yes, it did. Delayed call.
Well, now it's Adelaide who are looking breathless. Certainly the case there. An unfortunate reference.
Well, they're going to be hoping that Kikianis is all right, because the centre-back woes, which have crippled Adelaide in seasons gone by, are hurting them again this year. Mentioned earlier in the afternoon that Bart Vriends, their Dutch defender that they've brought in, he's had soft tissue injuries, groin issues, and Jordan Elsey is out, not related to his ACL that he suffered in India, but another leg problem for him. Kikianis now is looking like he's cramping up.
It would have to be Javi Lopez, you'd imagine, if he can't continue.
And that was the combination that played in that Cup semi-final against Victory, which is a really, a very much, what would that be, 4th, 5th choice for Carl Viet, centre-back combination. Slow down the pecking order for him, but could well be forced into it if Kikianis can't get through the cramp.
Adelaide have managed to put themselves in this position where, on the balance of play in the first half, it was looking like them first and Daylight second. As the game has developed, perhaps it's the Mariners who are looking more likely at this point.
Well, Perez is asking whether the assistant spotted a little nudge in the back, but not the case. And it's fascinating, isn't it, Harps? It's amazing what momentum, what a goal can do to the energy. Because when you think about it, Mariners playing their third game in about a week. Adelaide, first game of the new season. You'd think Adelaide would be fresher at this point, but it is the Mariners who are seemingly running downhill as Nico Duarte comes on for Ryan Edmondson. He says to him, get that goal. Well, he did get a goal on Tuesday night against Shanghai Port. A late goal. It was a neat finish. And that's going to give him a boost coming into this one for the final 20 minutes. And he's a man that's going to have fresh legs because he has been coming off the bench, not playing the full 90 minutes. And look at those XG. 1.22 for the Mariners, and Adelaide just 0.01 further ahead. So a game on a knife's edge here at Cooper Stadium. Perez really tried to calculate that curling ball in front of Clough.
The better from Adelaide. Nice forward run from Zach Clough, just a lack of touch on that delivery. Good idea, and was looking promising for a moment off the boot of Dylan Perez.
Steele was a little tired, but gets away with it. Docker. Fei Zhao, the two compatriots linking up once again. Caltac. And Fei Zhao. Docker rode the initial challenge of Mork, but the pressure just forced. And Tap drives forward to intervene for the Mariners. Gave Fei Zhao a bit of work to do. Tap. And Kiddo away for Adelaide. This is as dynamic as we've seen Victor Fei Zhao in Mariners colours. It's a warning for Adelaide. Moragas, and too close to Delinov.
Yeah, he's looking the goods at the moment. And playing him, if it is a matter of just getting him used to the team, playing him on the same side of the field as Michael Docker is obviously helping. He's forced the issue for the equalizer without scoring it himself. Has looked good since.
So here is an Adelaide United debut for Archie Goodwin. The Novocastrian who made the move from the Jets to the Reds in the off-season. And Javi Lopez replacing Kikianis, who cannot see out the game. So the two Spaniards, Lopez 38, Isaias 37, the centre-backs now for Adelaide to see out the remainder of this match. And this is further causing Carl Viet heartache. Stephen Moore limping from the field. You would think just a hamstring cramp. Let's hope it's nothing more sinister than that. Archie Goodwin onto the field. So isn't it incredible, Harps? Adelaide started this game, lead at halftime, everything going swimmingly, and at this point they've got players coming off with cramps, injuries, and some headaches for Carl Viet.
Well, certainly the Mariners are in a better than even position at the moment.
Love to know what's going on in his brain right now. Carl Viet, first game of the new season, wanting to bounce back after missing the finals for the first time as Adelaide boss last year. Pretty tricky test for them next week away to Western Sydney. Trips to Brisbane in there and Newcastle in the first 7 rounds. And speaking of Newcastle, Archie Goodwin, is he the man? He's been the man for the Jets in the past. He's had the Midas touch in these kind of moments.
Well, in his limited exposure to senior football, Ben, I'll test this theory with you. I don't think Archie Goodwin has ever taken the field and not made some sort of impact. So let's see if my theory holds any water. Let's see if he can continue that here. His new team certainly needs it.
He didn't get an opportunity to play in the cup due to those niggling injuries, and it's been a hallmark, unfortunately, of his very young career that he's been impacted by those injuries. Played 20 matches last year, just the 1 start for him under Rob Stanton.
Get up, boys! Get up!
Torres. The Mariners back on the ball through McCalman. Heavy touch from Duarte, pounced on by Alagich. The volume rises. Clough, Goodwin's in there. Torres and Valami so close on Adelaide debut. And it didn't take long, Andy Harper. Archie Goodwin's in there and causing chaos for the Mariners backline.
But this is championship defending, ultimately, though. Fabulous, fabulous first block by Bradley Tapp, and then the young keeper again, just maintaining his composure, regaining his feet, and then blocking what should have really been a tap-in with Falami thereafter, also unable to capitalise. Now that is championship scrambling from the Mariners.
Now, just put a little asterisk next to that moment. How critical could that be for the Mariners in the wash-up of this clash at Coopers? Caltac spearing that one forward.
Don't be worried about going higher. Go.
Well, don't go anywhere tonight on 10 Bold. Football tonight presented by Ninja. Tara Rushton, Ed Cavalier special guest tonight, and then all the build up to the Melbourne derby. We cannot wait. What a night of football on Network 10. It is so good to have these double headers on a Saturday night. If you've just joined us, well, you've tuned in for what is really a fascinating conclusion to this one in Adelaide. The champions, the Mariners, looking for their first win across all competitions this season. They won 3 trophies last year. They haven't won across all comps this time around, in Adelaide's first game in the league of the new season. As Clough just hands the ball back to the Mariners, and you heard Carl Viet's reaction to that.
Well, that couldn't have gone more wrong for Zach Clough. Goodness knows what he saw or thought.
Moragas and Duarte, the goal scorer Ngor inside, and almost found him. Avi Lopez new into that centre back role. Torres, trotting, and White looking and surveying for an option. And Fejau just came from the blind spot of Alagich, and now he's dazzling away from Ryan Kitto. Tried to cut it back across. And Duarte, good endeavour to win possession for the Mariners. McCalman neatly slided past Moragas and just didn't get enough power on the cross because Fazier, you can see hands up to the head. He knew a little bit more on that and he had a big chance.
Nice contribution, very tidy contribution in the lead up there from McCalman. The Adelaide fans will be a little more heartened that their team's output has just increased in the last few minutes, which has evened things out a little bit. The Mariners still in a position to steal all points here when over the course of the first 45 minutes that looked like fantasy land. And how often do you see this in football? Excellent changes from the coach structurally. Really gave the team an opportunity which they've taken. Adelaide have now had to work to get back to a point of parity. I'm talking not just the scoreboard, I'm talking in the flow of the game. And it's all on for the last 10 minutes here in Adelaide.
Kiddo asking a lot of Brian White. You've got to tip your hat to both coaches. First half, that press from Adelaide defensively really suffocating the Mariners. And as you said, Harps, the changes from that man, Mark Jackson, at half-time to go to that back 3/5 and just give them that space on the flank. So Johnny Yull comes on to replace Zach Clough. So big creative spark for Adelaide. Goes to the bench. And Johnny Yull, who is a real young talent, played for the young Socceroos in that AFC Under-20 Asian Cup qualifier back in September, in those qualifiers, I should say, with his teammates. Ivanovic was part of that as well, as I mentioned earlier. So too Kikianis and Taladira, who's not in the squad today. Throw will have to be retaken because the Mariners are making a change, and it's Sasha Kozewski. Fantastic to see this young man back because he missed the entirety of last season with an ACL injury. Mariners Academy product who supported the Central Coast as a kid comes on for Lucas Moragas, who put in his usual effort today. Lucas Moragas continually getting down that left edge. White. Kozewski is using his strength there to allow the ball to trickle over the byline.
Well done from the youngster. First involvement is to see off Dylan Parias, and as that ball's sailing over with a little bit of space in behind you, that could be a very nerve-wracking moment when faced with the speed of Dylan Parias, but he did very, very well to shepherd that ball out.
McCalman just being caught here by Alagic. He caught on the shin, it certainly hurt him. It's a frustrating time for Adelaide. Who'd be a coach? Attack, aiming for Fazier. Through comes Isaias. Mariners though swarming, feeling the moment here. The Central Coast will be an Adelaide throw, but way, way down in the corner.
And that was worth the effort from Fazier. Ryan Kiddo might have cleared. Let's see what sort of liberties he takes from the throw in. That was half a yard from the corner flag. Well, probably not that much, not so much liberties taken, but it was worth the effort from Vitor Fazier. Adelaide able to creep clear.
So a match that is right there for the taking. 3 golden points sitting there on the table. Who is going to take them? They won't want to leave Cooper Stadium with just a solitary point. Adelaide United on opening day for them. It has been a frustrating second half for the Reds. Inside the final 5 minutes now. Lopez. So Dylan Parias, who just gets a touch there, leading the Paramount Plus player index, but it gifted possession back to the Mariners, and Ngore's attempted cross is, well, going to potentially bring another opportunity. Drives it in low. Isaias away. And a handball against Johnny Yull. This is a dangerous free kick for the Central Coast.
Well spotted by referee Barrera. Good pressure being built here by Central Coast. Docker very capable from these situations. Some good targets in there from the Mariners' viewpoint.
And the shape is good. And Delianov marshalling his penalty box well, able to pluck it. Since that chance that Adelaide had through Goodwin/Falami probably about 10 minutes ago, it's been the Mariners who are just creating the better of the half opportunities. Isaias and White stepped to find the space. Haligic. Kito decided against finding Falami. Barnett, that was neat to Kito. Just opens up here slightly for Falami. And then the Mariners, well, that is a frustrating one for Adelaide United. It was very well won by Brad Tapp, but it doesn't please the Red Army.
Very hard for Falami too, I guess, to hit the brakes and pull out of that. Tapp sensed the opportunity, intercepting the ball and then engaging that contact to win the free kick. What about that from Fajar? Would have been a spectacular assist had the Mariners won that next contest and gone in to confront the Adelaide goal.
Well, he's been heavily involved since he's come onto the field. Played a massive part in the equaliser for Sabit Ngore. Oh, this is a problem for Lopez. Thought for a moment he was just grabbing the calf. He looks all right for the moment. There is definitely a problem for Fajar again, as Falami. Players hitting the turf everywhere. Whatever Lopez's problem was, it's no longer hindering him. And Archie Goodwin driving forward. Kaltak came across, ensuring there was no avenue to goal, but there was an avenue for a corner.
Well, his first touch since coming on came close to a telling touch with that scramble inside the 6-yard box, but since, as a measure of the flow of the game, Adelaide haven't been able to get the ball to Goodwin or release him into space. That was the first occasion, really. Corner to follow. They've looked untroubled from corners defensively, the Mariners. Can Adelaide turn things up here?
Well, it's a tired corner, wasn't it, from Ethan Haligic? Still the chance not gone, though, because Yull has tracked it down, and well, his delivery wasn't much better than the corner. Isaias. White. This will be a throw for the Reds. Yo. And Falami. Well, to attempt fate, Harps. There has not been a draw in this fixture in 6 years. February 2018, the last time there was a draw between these two sides in the A-League. 4 minutes to try and extend that statistic. Torres. And Ngor driven across the ground for Fejau. Mikhail Docker is flooring his engine through the middle. And no one on the inside. Well, Duarte was there at the back post, and Mikhail Docker went towards the near post where there were no Mariners in QE. Falami, Kito, and Yao took a deflection. Favourable though for H. Cullen. So straight after full time, football tonight presented by Ninja, hosted by Tara Rushton and Ed Cavalier, special guest on tonight. And then straight into the Melbourne derby. So a big night of football still to come here on Network 10. And we've still got a couple of minutes at least to go at Cooper Stadium for one of these two sides to find a winner. As Tap finds Fejau. Docker driving it up the line. Lovely ball. Tap with the early delivery in towards Duarte. And Adelaide again reading the situation well, but they want to do more than that. They want to create an opportunity to win this one. Alagic gets a backpack in the form of Steele, who is handed a yellow card.
That would be to Tap for kicking the ball away. Free kick against Steele. That's the free kick.
Well, we'll have to get that clarified. Have to check the little book of Barrero. Probably not going to matter in the end, though. Less than 80 seconds on the watch in stoppage time. Lopez. And Falami, dangerous moment for Ben Falami.
Yet to threaten from the corner, though. On the evidence thus far, that intervention from Brian Kaltak was a judicious one.
And the Mariners bench watching on. It'll be back-to-back draws for them to begin the season. Or can Adelaide snatch a late winner? Alagic's delivery. Up they go. Kazewski did incredibly well. That was very, very awkward. Down low. He had to smother that with his chest as Kaltak missed it in the air.
A quick check of VAR, as there was some sort of feeling that Kazewski had helped control that with his hand, but it was waved on very quickly. Adelaide come again.
Goodwin trying to control. But for the first time in 6 years, it is a draw in the Isuzu UTE League between the Central Coast Mariners and Adelaide United. February 2018, the last time these two sides were held in a stalemate. It was Luka Jovanovic with the opening goal inside the opening 10 minutes before Savit Ngor equalised in the second half just after the hour mark for the Mariners. His first goal in this competition in just his second match. It finishes full-time at Cooper Stadium. Adelaide United 1, Central Coast Mariners 1. And we're going to go through the Harvey Norman highlights, which tells the tale of Adelaide in the first half. Andy Harper dominating and scoring the opening goal.
Yeah, so when you look at the match over its 90 minutes, clearly the first 45 was Adelaide to kick clear, a scrambling goal to take the lead, and as we'll see, it was a scrambling goal from the Mariners to equalise. But given what Adelaide had established for themselves, you've got to question the mentality of the players not to really grasp that opportunity, and the Mariners were there for the taking. We see it a lot in football, and a much better second half care of the foundation laid by the tactical changes from the coach resulted in this scrambling effort. Same end of the Ville, different team this time at the Vidmar end. Beautiful ball, Caltech, great play from Ryan Edmondson. That's just not a fair fight, and that sort of exchange, Edmondson versus Asayas, the necessary and very welcome desperation from Fejau to make something of it, and Moore makes the equaliser happen.
So the Alex Tobin medal points from Cooper Stadium. Zach Clough with the 3 points. He was really creative for Adelaide United. Last year's Player of the Year, Savit Ngor, gets a point as well. And Stefan Mork with a